Hello and welcome to a new video. I want to kick this one off with a quote of a great trader from years gone by. And the quote goes like this: "You will only be as good as the products you trade." Now, when it comes to trading, there are thousands of products that you and I have available to us, from large caps all the way down to penny stocks, from maybe the top eight all the way down to some of the more obscure Forex pairs, from options, cryptocurrencies, ETFs. There's a lot of things that we have available that we could be trading. But the reality is that of everything out there that's available, of all those products, most of them we have no business being involved with. And if you're looking to actively trade as a retail trader, these products are low quality. And I know what's happening. This might be happening to you, but I know this is happening to a lot of people. They come into trading and they spend a lot of time, they spend a lot of energy, and they spend a lot of money trying to learn this as a craft and trying to perfect a method. But if you're taking your time and your energy and your money and you're applying that to a low quality product, that's never going to translate into you earning consistently. And so, what I want to do in this video is just break down and basically give a promo for the futures market. This is what I actively trade, and futures are superior products to be involved with. They are superior products to trade. And I really wish more people traded them. I wish more people were aware of this market because I know it's sliding under the radar in a lot of cases. So let's just jump into this because if we're talking about trading, just in general, I have a high level of appreciation and respect for this industry and for this as a craft. But when we're talking about specifically something like volume profile or the futures market, now we're getting into the individual pieces that make up the whole puzzle of what I do day in and day out. And when we're talking about futures, I have a huge amount of appreciation for this market. And if I can say it like this, I'm really proud to be trading futures because it's a great market to be involved with. So let me just break down some reasons for you so that you don't just have to take my word that these are great, but let me really explain why. One very nice thing to understand about the futures market is that it's well regulated. There's the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, that is just an independent government agency that regulates and oversees the futures market. And what they do is they protect their traders and the people participating here from things like price manipulation, from fraud, and from all kinds of just harmful practices. Now, this type of regulation is not available everywhere. If you step into something like the Forex market, what happens over there, not always, but a big part of this is the exchanges that you can get involved with, they know where your trades are. And a lot of exchanges will actively trade against their own clients. And as crazy as that sounds, that type of predatory and harmful activity, that and many other things happen every single day in the Forex market. But that type of behavior and that type of malpractice, it doesn't happen in futures because futures are very well regulated. And if you're seriously trying to actively trade as a business, you want to make sure that you're trading a product like futures that are actively and well regulated because you're setting yourself up and you're not stacking the deck against yourself if you're trading something like Forex. Now, another thing that's very nice about futures is they offer you sufficient leverage. And what this means is that you can control a very large amount of asset for a low amount of your own money and your own capital. And what this also means is that you don't need to leave a ton of funds just parked on your exchange, and you don't have to use a ton of those funds day in and day out. If you're doing something like the stock market, because of the pattern day trade rule, you need to have at least $25,000 in your account, and you need to keep that money in your account just to be able to actively trade. But beyond that, that market in general does not supply a lot of leverage. And what this means is that you're forced to keep a large amount of money sitting on that exchange. And then if you're going to be making money with this, you're really going to have to be using virtually all that money because there's not a lot of leverage that's available. But when it comes to the futures market, you have sufficient amounts of leverage so you don't have to have that dynamic. Another nice thing about this having as much leverage as it has available is that you don't need to scan through the market looking for what's going to be moving that day. Because these products have such a sufficient amount of leverage, you can hone in, and if you'd like, you can just trade one futures product. And that can give you enough opportunities, and that can give you enough range to earn consistently and to earn well day in and day out. You don't have to scan through Forex, you don't have to scan through stocks and try to see what exactly is going to be moving or what exactly which products are primed that day to maybe have some outsized volume or primed for an outsized move. You don't need to be doing that because these products are leveraged so well that they don't have to move all that much for you to be able to earn well and to earn consistently with them. Another nice thing, and I'm not trying to just kind of rattle off a bunch of information here, and but I really want to get this point across. But futures are transparent. I'll just say a little bit about this. When you're dealing with other markets, Forex is a good example of this. There are a lot of unrelated exchanges out there. So if you and I were looking at the same Forex pair, we would be seeing different things. We might be seeing the same price or at least close, but if we drill down into anything like volume, you and I would be looking at different things. And in the real world of trading, this type of information really matters. But when you're talking about the futures market, if you and I were both trading the ES, we're both trading that, all of that transaction and everything that everybody who trades it, it's all going through and it's all clearing through the CME. Having one centralized exchange where everything clears through provides transparent information that's available in real time. It's available to everybody, and everybody's seeing the same exact thing because it's not all unrelated. It's all going through one central place. This is a huge benefit of trading futures if you're looking for a product to actively intraday trade. Okay, so when it's coming to futures, really, these are superior products to be involved with. And what I could say about futures is if traders were gladiators, the futures market would be Rome. It's just the place that you want to be. And I've never really spoken up and promoted futures for other people to trade them because even though they are superior and even though I trade them and I love them, there really is a big downside to trading futures. And the downside is this: futures trade in contracts, and one contract is the smallest that you can go, but one contract is very big. If you want an understanding of how big, the S&P 500, the E-mini S&P, the ES, one contract of that right now has an intrinsic value of around $170,000. So if you compare that with like micro lots on Forex, or if you compare that with like a $60 stock that you can just buy one share of if you'd like, you can't really compare these things because one contract is very big. And the downside of trading futures is you're either running with the big dogs or you're staying on the porch. There's never really been anything in between until now. Very recently, the CME has released a series of micro contracts that are paired to some of the most popular products that are traded. And what this means, just in short, is that you can now access these very superior products that used to only be available to large players and to big accounts. You can now access them for a tenth of the size. And of all the other added benefits this implies, what this has done in the introduction of micro contracts has really made starting a legitimate active trading business a true reality, where you don't have to try, I should say, a true reality with a small account. Because you don't have to try and skirt around the pattern day trade rule. You don't have to be exposed to all the harmful and predatory practices that go on in Forex. You can be a part of superior products and you can do it for a tenth of the size without having that massive exposure. And so this actually introduces, of all the great things about futures, we can now add to that futures provide a very low barrier to entry. And when you're involved with trading futures, you can do this with a very small account. And it makes it something that's extremely realistic. And some of these even case studies we've done before on this channel with small accounts that you can go through and you can check out for yourself. Okay, so these are a few points about trading futures, and really just beyond that, and if you're listening to this, and if you've been out there trading and maybe struggling with putting things together in Forex, in options, in crypto, in stocks, trying to actively trade these markets, not that you should ever blindly listen to what you find online, but I would really suggest that you at least give an honest look to the futures market. Check these things out, kick the tires on it. And really a nice thing to do would maybe even set up an account with something like AMP Futures for a very nominal amount of money and just get access to the simulated environment so that you can get in plugged in and potentially even try executing your trades on it for a couple of weeks in a simulated environment just to see for yourself if there's something here that can benefit you or not. Because looking at my own experience in on trading, when I was able to transition into doing this full time where I didn't need to rely on anything else, it was because of things like the volume profile and the futures market. And if we were to isolate those things out, or if I was trying to do what I do now, but if I was still trying to do that on Forex, or if I was still trying to do that in the stock market, and of all the products we've talked about, I've traded all of those in the past. And it's very much been my experience that futures are just superior products to trade. And it's been hard for people to get involved with them, but especially now with the introduction of micro contracts, it's just a true reality. And I really wish that more people talked about them. I wish that more people traded them and even moved off of things like Forex to try their hand at a superior product like something like futures. Okay? So if you're still here watching this video, that's pretty much it. We'll wrap this one up. I just wanted to give a real plug to the futures market. I got a lot of love for the space, and I hope that more people will at least check it out, maybe after watching this video. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the like button on the way out. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you're going to be on the screens between now and then, just happy trading, watch your risk, and I'll see you guys in the next video.